reached out to, I'm not sure who he reached out to. Ken handled it. He sent me a text message about the quotes. Apparently the signs with the pole are $75 a piece. So 4 signs were not gonna exceed $500 with this. But I asked for this agenda item since it was unresolved as a discussion item after last meeting. I think what needs to be talked about is whether Union Township pays for those signs and puts them in, or whether we ask the church to pay for those signs and put them in. Obviously, the church has made the request. We need to talk about who's gonna pay for the signs.
My only concern was not for the church, but for every other request that we get following forward, that we have St. James Chapel and Stone Church, we have, and not just churches, maybe other businesses. That was my question at last month's meeting, are we setting a precedent that we do any kind of traffic control?
Why are we doing this,
When you turn off at 88 on the Stone Church Road, the church's parking lot, they have to cross over it, it's dangerous.
Mingo Church.
I'm sorry, Mingo Church, Mingo Church. It's dangerous for them to get into the parking lot without the crosswalk.
so that's a precedent for us to fix it or improve it.
Well, as a kind gesture, the township authorized Bankston to fill out the
Yeah, we
crosswalk
did that
form.
part.
We filled the form out for them, we sent it in, PennDOT reviewed it, said, we're gonna permit you to install signs, but we're not gonna permit you to install a raised crossing or striping or anything to that effect. So PennDOT gave us their opinion on what could be put in, and now we're to the point where we're talking about who's gonna pay for the signs, whether that's the church or whether that's the town.
As of now, the township's paid for TJ's time and
think-
Diana's time at the time.
So we paid for all that.
We paid for that, now we're down to the signs.
What is it, $300?
And another 5, or probably 5 then.
So the church won't pay for the signs or what?
Well, they're making a request, he said.
The church is asking, I think the church wants to know.
Have they done that in writing or what?
Yeah, the pastor for the church has asked me,
He's done that
to talk
in
about it
writing?
before. Yes, he's emailed.
And the board has copies of those emails or?
I don't know if you have a copy of his specific request, but he's asking for some feedback from the township as to what's gonna happen
I
next.
think it's a precedent to start doing that.
Yeah.
And I can reply to him and let him know that
You can tell the basis.
our
I
workforce will
mean, it's not like
install.
we're gonna charge them for the road crews time to install them, but I think
They-
we're
they-
gonna charge them.
Who's this new pastor?
The state
Sim-
Oh, the township would have to, if you install it, it's the township.
You'll take ownership of this.
Yeah, well, that's it, once we put the signs in, we're gonna have to replace them if they get taken down, that's all we were given, right? Once we put them in, whether they pay for them or not, forever, we'll have to replace them as they come down.
I don't know of any, I've never had a situation where a church has asked us.
I don't know, I was new to it.
It's first for me, I've never seen that.
Like I said, this board did vote to have TJ do this survey and the study or whatever, and Diana filled out the forms and so forth, but now we're down to installing and buying the signs. And maybe we can come up with some sort of hybrid where they buy the
It's
hard
been that way
goods
forever.
because of
I guess.
the labor. I don't know.
In churches and every day.
I said maybe we come up with a hard,
Why don't they
a
buy
hybrid.
when we put them on?
That's what I just said.
So is that someone's
They cover the
motion?
hard costs and we
Is
cover
that
the
your
soft
motion?
costs.
I didn't make any motion.
Sounds like a good motion.
Well,
Why don't you,
I'll
why don't
make
you
a
do it?
motion that they buy the signs, we'll put the signs on. How's that?
That's
Can I
a
make
shame.
good there?
I'll second that motion, they buy the hard goods, we pay for the labor.
You made them pay to put them into it.
So we have a first and a second, roll call.
Second.
It's already been
It's
seconded.
already been second, but all in favor?
Any opposed?
Alright, I'll notify the church.
Send us an email, we'll
I know that, we have to be the ones, they can't, by law, they can't install the signs themselves, it's just whether or not we would charge them. Approval of stormwater ordinance revisions. We just conducted a hearing prior to this meeting.
And we have comment coming up in the next 30 days.
Yeah,
So you should make a motion to table this
so the
till
July meeting.
I make a motion to table July, awaiting the 30-day public comment. Just one second, all in favor? Authorize Bankston Engineer Inc. to survey and design the Pleasant Springs Park Stream Bank Restoration Project.
Okay, so this is Jason Street Park, Pleasant Street Park. Union Township applied for and received, I believe it's $190,000, roughly, somewhere in that vicinity. $190,000 grant money through DEP's Growing Greener grant program, to conduct a stream bank restoration project, which is one of our MS4 projects. The grant agreement was just recently finalized, so now that the grant agreement is finalized with the township, our office is prepared to add this project to our list of work and start designing this project, if the board would like us to proceed, so. That's the agenda item, requesting authorization to move ahead with the project that we received grant money for.
I make the motion, authorize banks to proceed with the, Pleasant Road.
Any motion? So, Larry made the motion, John second, all in favor?
Aye.
D, approve to advertise for a public hearing on the noise ordinance. Any motion?
I'll second.
This is Suzanne made the motion, Larry second. All in favor?
Aye.
We voted to advertise that back in February.
Oh,
We
okay.
haven't done it yet.
I guess we should.
Yeah, so we have to set the date for the BESS ordinance hearing. It was already voted to advertise, but we have to set a date so that we can go ahead and do that. So with it might, you feel it'll be a longer one, or you think
BESS
it'll be one
ordinance?
before the meeting?
I think the noise ordinance should be short, so should the best ordinance. So I'd say half hour at the same time.
Everything? Half hour each for the,
I'm just saying,
I got some questions for the noise one, I'll be honest with you.
alright, so let's put 45 minutes. So our meeting starts at 6:30 normal, correct? So you wanna start this at 5:30 then? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, it's up to you.
I'm saying either way, we've never set a date, we did vote to spend the money to advertise it, but we haven't ever set a date.
Yeah, I mean, our next meeting's the end of July. So, as part of that process, we can do the noise ordinance the best one's at 5:30, do the noise ordinance at 6 o'clock. Does that sound suitable to everybody?
Does that sound suitable to everybody?
Perfect.
Perfect, very good. Day of the meeting.
4th of July, 4th of July. I'm like, Larry, I don't know, it's like, Fourth, that would be 23rd. July is 5 Wednesday, so the 23rd. So July 23rd, 5:30, 6 o'clock. Does that sound suitable, everybody?
Yep.
Okay, 5:30 for the
Wow.
BESS,
Put it down.
6 o'clock for the north. We don't really have to vote on that, right? We already made.
You already made the motion.
Okay, approval and discussion for the revision of the Highland Village Storm Sewer Farmazy Homes sinkhole issue.
Yeah, so, I received a request